You can of course unmute yourself, and if you're on a PC or a laptop, you can just press and hold the space bar while you talk. Is a good way of doing it if you just want to briefly say something. So John sent out his usual excellent agenda for what we're doing, and with the music and the recordings of things. Thank you, John. So looking at that, our warm-up set is the Planksties. So if I just put that up. So what we'll do, for ease of not too bad, is it? Do what we'll just play through the first two, and then I'll talk about the third one, which is a bit different, and the transition might be interesting. So I just lost my footrest. So Planksty Irwin, and then. But I don't think those ever really should be played much faster than that, though sometimes they are. So I don't know that we need to start them very slowly. I think most people will have played these before. So you sometimes find these without internal repeats, where it just goes A, B, A, B, A, B. This is written here going A, A, B, B. So let's do that. Let's just do that as written. Play the part of the page you can see there. So both those two tunes. So we're not going to play the tune twice. We're just doing the internal repeats. I'll play the whole of the last line of Planksty Irwin, and then on to the next one. So. Repeat. Changing. I've told the story before how Planxty Irwin was the brainworm tune that I've first heard anybody play on an English concertina that stuck in my brain for 20 years and persuaded me to take up concertina playing. Yes, in the middle of Planxty Fanny Power, the transition from the A to the B, or in particular, I think going from the end of Planxty Fanny Power back to the B repeat, there's a tendency to people sometimes do a run there, they truncate the long note a bit, and so if you're playing it in a session, don't be surprised if people do that. But I think it actually works quite well with the pause and a slight pause and transition. I think you still shorten that last bit and put a rest in to make that stand out on the things there. So those are jigs. So 2 beats in the bar. You know, you're going. So you're doing 1, 2, 1, 2 beats, but triplet beats things there. George Brabazon is in 4/4, but it's still basically 2 beats in the bar. It's again a brainworm tune. You'll find sometime in the next week when you're walking along a pavement somewhere, you'll suddenly find you've got Brabazon going along because it. So it's sort of left, right, da 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 da, left, right, da 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 da, left, right. But it's the same thing really. So if what I'm suggesting in the transition is that we keep the bar length the same time, so we're still doing basically 2 beats, 2 strong beats in the bar, the same distance apart. So I'm still counting 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1, 2. I'm still keeping that slow 1, 2 going all the way through. Anyway, you have me to follow along with. The alternative is that we keep the crotchet the same length, but that's harder to do in a transition like that. And if you're marching to the jig and then you're marching to the march, it's the beats in the bar that want to be the same length. Sorry, I'm blithering on here, but anyway. Suggestion now, let's do Planxty Fanny Power again and go on to George Brabazon. Do you want to? Let's play Planxty Fanny Power as written again. So. change. Let's do George Brabbers again. Right, so now if I go, I can get rid of, that would work, wouldn't it? So you should have the whole thing on the page there. So let's play through the whole set. I think because time is getting on, ignore all repeat marks. So we're just going to play A, B, then move on to Fanny Power and do A, B, and George Brabbers and A and B, which will also give you practice in playing it in the alternative way. Right, so here's the last two bars of Irwin. Change. Change. Right. If I just stop sharing, then I can see. So did that work for people? You could hear me, and it was a sensible speed. Right. Good. Oh dear. Rosemary's got a bent finger, a broken finger, a cut finger. She's cut the top of her finger. Oh dear. Right, I think that's probably enough. They weren't particularly fast tunes for warming up, but George Brabazon, I think, would probably have been enough to have got your fingers moving. We ought, of course, to do Sandra Kerr's finger exerciser that you're meant to have done before starting, and it's not a bad thing to do. As she said, you wouldn't embark on doing a 100-metre sprint without warming up, and the same thing. Well, if you're going to play a concertina fairly hard, you ought to do your warm-up exercises first. So she has you sort of doing shoulder exercises and then wrist things, and then each of the fingers in turn. Right, so let's stay to the programme. Moving on to parts tunes, Kemp's Jig. So we can get rid of that. So Kemp's Jig. Screen sharing, yes. So this is. Yes, the marks on that the last bar of that line. The first G has a line underneath it to indicate that it's full length but stressed, and then the next one has a dot underneath to indicate that it's staccato, that you're playing it short, and then in essence putting a rest after it. So I'm exaggerating slightly there in terms of the lengths of them. I don't know if there's anything else. Right, so let's all for the moment play the black notes, and then we'll go through and play the red notes, and then I'll play one and you can play the other one against it, and then we've got a synthesized recording of both together that you can try listening and playing along with. Hold on to it. I'm just wondering what speed he would have been dancing all the way from Norwich to London to Norwich. It's both.
Slower at the end than at the start, Sir Paul.
Yes, probably so. Yes, he did win his bet. Right. So, what do we want to the? Right, okay, there's the whole of the last line then. Sorry. Again. yes, I've realised I'm also doing. I'm making some other notes staccato, particularly the ones where you've got so at the beginning of the third system, the I'm shortening the second and fourth notes, aren't they? I'm making them staccato rather than playing. And I don't know why I am really, other than I just think it works. Yes. But I'm doing. Up to you, but that's what I'm doing. That's just my interpretation of the skeleton of the dots. Right, let's just have a little look at the red notes. So just if I just play a bit of it so you can see how it's going. That's like that. I mean, it's a tune sort of in its own right. It's not quite the same rhythm as the top, which makes it a bit harder to play. Don't know. We'll give it a thing and see what happens. So here's the whole of the last line. Again. Okay, so I'm going to play it through twice. First time through I'll play the black notes, and then the second time I'll play the red notes. And I'm just going to go and get another footrest. These are yoga blocks. They're very good, lightweight things. Just raise your thing so my main bit of my legs are horizontal, so not pointing down. Right, so we'll do the same sort of thing again. Now just lead in of just last two bars then. So I'm doing black notes first and red notes afterwards. I suggest that you do red notes first and black notes afterwards. So you're playing the other part, but this is entirely up to you because I can't hear you at all. change. So, do we think that worked? Did people playing the other part, was it harmonising all right? I'm going to stop sharing here for a minute while I find the other thing. So I'm now going to get the to share the player as well as the music and get it playing both halves. So I want that one and that one. Share sound is on. Right. Seems to be appropriate. Pull that back. So, I don't know what speed this is, but I'll play it and see. So it's a bit faster than I was doing it. Etc. There, right, okay. So you get the 4 bars intro and then you'll hear both halves, and I think it does it twice, I'm not sure, must admit. Right, so here goes.
You're muted, Paul.
Sorry, I turned my microphone off because I was playing along with it. Did you keep up all right at that speed? Yes. It's a bit borderline. When I tried playing along the thing, you've got to keep going is the thing. So I suggest we do that once more like that, and to give you another chance at it. And whichever you were playing last time, try doing the other one this time, I suppose. So I'll do the same thing again, sharing the media player and the tune book. Move that back. And I'm going to press the what's the button, you get the intro. I think that's worth one more go. I was just trying to play along there, playing the bottom half, and I wasn't getting it right all the time. So I'm going to do it once more.
Yeah, it's that natural and then the sharp.
Yes, it's. Again, if you have difficulty with it about it, the best thing to do is just take two and sort of loop round those till your fingers can do it without having to think about it. Yes, it was easier to do more slowly. I'm just thinking, I've started trying to analyse how on earth I play tunes, whether I do it systematically. As to where I change bellows direction, and on this one I do quite a lot in the same direction. I've changed there, and I always change between those two G's to separate them. You could do them in the same direction, but I think it works a lot better if you change bellows direction between those two repeated notes. Okay, well that'll do for Kemp's Jig for the moment. It's a nice tune, and I notice it's a John Mackenzie arrangement, so more thanks to John. So that's that. The other parts one and this half is the Halsey Schottische. Of course, if it's near Christmas, it can be the Halsey Carol. And I'm going to Halsey in March. I don't know whether anyone else is, to the WCCP Intermediate and Advanced Weekend. So if you are, I'll see you there. Though it's a hell of a long way to go from Cambridge. It seems to get further every year I go. So we wanted what do we want? Halsey Schottische, which is in the parts book, isn't it? Somewhere under H, presumably. F G H. That one. Right, we can be a bit bigger for this one. That's and the B part goes. Oh, no, it doesn't. etc. So it's not a trivial tune. It got there's some, you know, those sort of rhythm things take a little bit of getting used. But that's the basic start to it. But we'll get on to the red notes in a bit. So let's all initially just play the black notes. So just the last two bars then. We'll do it rather slower than I was doing it there. What speed do we want it? Right, we'll do that sort of speed. So last two bars. One more, a bit slower, I think. Yes, that transition to the beginning of the B part's not trivially easy. So it's somehow my brain wants to put a rest and then do a triplet as the beginning of the bar, but it isn't. Yeah, there should be a stress on that second of those quavers on that line. So. Just getting the timing right there. Right. Right, so let's try the red notes. So I'll play the whole of the last line, red notes. Oh dear, so that was a bad transition, wasn't it? Right, okay, I'll do that again then. That might be a little bit slow, I don't know. One, two. Right, messed that up, didn't I? Because I was thinking about, I'd done the transition wrong back, having described it, I then did what I said. Anyway, last 2 bars. Right, so I'll play through twice as before. I think my afternoon tea is just arriving. Coffee, thank you very much. I'm afraid it won't go down the Zoom connection very well. Right. So I'm going to play it twice. I'm going to play black notes first and then red notes second time. And I suggest you play the other one. And so you're playing against me rather than with me, but entirely up to you again. So I'm actually going, as an intro, I'll just for a change, I'll play the last 2 bars of the red notes, but I'm coming in then playing the black ones. Why didn't that work? It did probably, actually. Let's do that again. Changing. Yes, I still don't like that. It's my habit of putting pickup notes at the starts of lines rather than the end of the previous bar, but it's still an odd. You've got to make sure that you count the previous bars 1, 2, 3, and. Yes. But it's an intentionally odd rhythm, is that? Right, so let's see if we get the computer to do it, and then that will give you a definitive thing of probably of how it should be. Stop sharing. Ah, we have a Paul McCann joined.
Hello.
Hello.
Happy New Year. Sorry to be late on parade. Had a family visit. They've just gone. So.
Right. Well, we're Halseying at the moment, as you've probably determined.
Yes, I gathered that. Thank you.
So we've done both. So I'm now going to try and share. Yeah. Oh no! Wait a minute. I need to find
the weather's better elsewhere than it is here. It's flipping horrible here.
It's horrible here. It's raining and blowing. Certainly.
Yeah, it is doing all of the above here too.
So it's a bit faster again, but it probably wants to be, so that's all right. So let's get rid of that, and we've got two of those. No, we haven't. Come on back. Share screen.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going away again. Right, try that again. Media player and tune book and share sound and. Right, so I think you get an intro, or we'll see. I'll play it and we'll see what happens. So hopefully that worked. It was a little bit faster, but not phenomenally so. So I think I'm going to do the same thing again and give you another chance at doing it at that speed. So here is the same thing again. Yes, so it's a reasonable speed, is that, I think. You do find that because the computer is playing the thing very strictly to the time, it doesn't add in any extra space where you might breathe if you were actually singing the Halsey Carol or anything, where clearly there's the tendency at the end of a phrase or the end of a part to have a little extra time for you to get your breath before. And of course, if you're playing a wind instrument, it's also useful to you. Right, so that's that. So we've done an hour, so that's probably all right for time for the moment. We've got that's probably enough on that one. So I will stop sharing a moment. I will close a few things I've got open. So the next thing on the list is the guest spot. We'd love for you to share anything you've been playing recently. Sometimes it's Rosemary who offers at this point, but she's got an injured finger, so she's definitely not. Who's been playing something? It was Burns like last night. Somebody must have been doing something Scottish. They're an unresponsive lot, this, aren't they? Is Martin trying to do something, or is he just looking?
Come on, Wendy, you can do something.
Martin was speaking muted, but he's now unmuted. So,
Yes,
what were you saying?
I wasn't really saying anything.
Right.
It's having a matter.
Yeah.
I'm a poorly person and I got a poorly finger as well. I'm not doing anything. I'm in hospital tomorrow.
Dear, that's serious.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What have you done to it?
Well, it started leaking.
Oh.
Oh, my finger,
Your finger.
I cut the very top of it when I was trying to cut some venison apart, the sinews off. And it caught the top.
Oh dear.
Tomorrow I've got to have a wash out of the wound from the hernia, from the hip, from the hip.
Yeah.
And it's got a bit, well, I've got a hematoma that's got to be released.
Oh dear, and that's a blood thing. Yeah.
Yes.
So you've been in the wars. So that's
Absolutely.
yes.
So I'm let off.
Yes, indeed you are.
You've got no excuses, guys.
In that case, I'll tell you what. I might. I mean, I know I've been playing a lot, but I played it last night for something, and I rather liked it. So I'm just going to go back to sharing. Assuming I can find my share button, which has disappeared. What is that? We got Zoom. What? You cannot minimise Zoom. I don't want to minimise Zoom. If I just go back to this for a minute, with it being Burns night, just a very brief little thing. I was actually at a French evening, but
Nice.
we decided that.
Oh, calendar October.
I'm looking for Cather Hughes. Is it in here?
I think so.
No,
Haven't seen it.
didn't, is it? So it's in my. It must be. So I'm just going.
Oh, it isn't.
It must have a lead-in letter or something.
It must, yes. Cather Hughes.
It's not in there.
It's because it was actually before CAA. It's CA space, so it's actually the very first CA in the thing. Yeah. Right. So let me just mute people again for the moment. If I could find my thing, mute all. So I was actually at a French evening, but because it was happening on Burns night, so I played a couple of French tunes, the Bourrée, Carré de la Chartre, and then I played which is not really Burns, but it's very Scottish. But then I transitioned into which is supposedly words and tune by Robert Burns. Though whether he stole the tune from somewhere else, I don't know. But anyway, I just throw that in as something that wasn't on the programme that's fairly short. So shall we move on to John's theme of Bampton Morris tunes? So we'll go back to... Paul's appeared now. Do you want to offer us anything under the guest spot, particularly, or he's just trying to find his?
Sorry, I'm not having a good afternoon here, Paul.
No.
I'm trying to deal with something else that's just come in, and
Right. That's all right.
Really I'm sorry.
You've contributed enough in the past, so we'll
try me again in 20 minutes.
Oh, right. Okay.
We'll have moved on by then.
Right.
Okay.
We'll go
Sorry.
off to
Cheers.
We'll go off to Bampton Morris things then. So we want the session 2 book. So Highland Mary. EFGH. Highland Cathedral, Highland Mary. So the aim here is to play through them a few times without spending too long on any one. So this goes. Yes, all right. So let's do it a little bit slower there. A little bit slower to start with, and then faster. So right, here's the last 2 bars then. Bit faster. Now let's do that again. I'll do an intro a bit faster. So was that? Let me just stop sharing for a moment on that one, so I could see Hans. Was that was that speed all right for there? People will keep it. I'm trying not to start them too slowly, but just enough to let people get the fingers on the notes. Right. Okay. We'll go back. We'll do it once more. I think there. Much the same speed. I seem to. Not quite what's happening there. Ah. Right. Okay. So before I do the, I mean, I think the sort of thing that makes this and other similar tunes very playable, even at speed, is that although they've got quite a lot of notes in the B part and things, they mainly runs up, runs down, or the odd bit of arpeggio. So once you've got your finger on the first note, you really should be able to do, you know, the first bit of scale or. So it's why scales are useful in practice too, because they turn up so often in tunes. Anyway. Right, so that was Highland Mary. Moving on to Old Tom of Oxford. Old Grenadier. Old. One time. Old. This has got slows, which is always interesting. So you just keep the crotchet the same length all the way through this, and the tune will slow down because the C part is basically written out twice as long, to give time for the dancers to do their leaps in the air, etc. So this tune goes. And if you look at the top under where it says Morris Dance, it says A, B, C, B, C, B. So you do the A part that I've just done, which is usually the musicians by themselves to sort of set the time ready for the dancers, and then you're going to do another A followed by a B. So an A like we've just done, and then. So A, B, and then having the next thing is C, B. So having finished a B, you go straight on to the C. So here's the last few bars of that. And then we're back to B, etc. So let's try doing it in. So just keep the crotchets the same length, and just play the notes are written there. So we're going to do A, B, C, B, C, B. So you're just going to get the last 2 bars of an A part just to set the A again. B. C. B. So you are now in a position to play that for a team of Morris dancers to do their slows. So I think they'd probably want several times round that, going alternating the A, B, C, B things. Right, next, Shepherd's Hay, a classic, supposedly easy tune that gets quite richly, you can play with it a lot. Shepherds must be back here somewhere. It'd help if I'd gone forwards rather than backwards, wouldn't it? Once I got near it. Shepherd's Hay, there we go. So again, there's some notes have a staccato thing just to so this is the reverse of what we had in the first tune, in that it's the first note that's short. So in this case I don't reverse bellows direction. I don't reverse bellows direction. I've just got the space of the staccato gives me long enough to take the finger off and put it back on, just using the same finger in the same direction. Other people's experience may vary. So here's the last 4 bars. Yes, that's right. So it goes straight on. There's no pause at that point. Do that again. it's a tune that once it's in your brain, you should be able to play it without looking at the music and things. We'll do it a bit faster, and then call it done. I think. It's dangerous if I let my mind wander onto things. I was saying, I think I remember Leverett playing this, or certainly Rob Harbron playing it, and playing it many times over, each one slightly differently. Step and Fetch Her. So. Yes, I know what it is. Right, okay. It's written a bit oddly, this, or the A part's only 4 bars long and repeats. And then the B part is written out in full and is very long, 32 bars long. So the whole thing is a 40 bar tune, which is a bit odd, but still, presumably the dance needs it, and you need time to go and step and fetch your partner. Right, so I'll play the whole of the first line and then come in and do the first line twice more. suspect it probably should go a little bit faster. It's got quite a lot of notes in. Should we try it a little bit faster then? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll have our last 4 bars. It's quite a nice tune. It's and again, although a lot of notes, they're well behaved. They go more or less where you'd expect, I think. Right, and the last one on the list is not in my tune book, though. I've been wondering. I mean, it's "Oh Dear, What Can the Matter Be?" 7 old ladies stuck in the lavatory. But there are all sorts of variants of it, and I've never known quite what to put in. So this thing as written that John's provided is not swung. It's quite the things. Anyway, let's say. So that's evenly spaced like that, but it's quite common to come across it where at least the first triplet in each bar is swung. And sometimes every triplet swung. Though that's less common, I must admit. But you'll quite often find at least some of the triplets swung. Anyway, let's try playing it straight as it's written and see what happens. And I've been interested in comments from people how they've encountered it in the past. So here's the whole of a last line then. Right, so before we try swinging it a bit, let's just do it rather faster, I think. So what do I... Yes, that'll do. Last line. Right, now let's try, try a simplistic thing of just for every bar that's got two triplets in, certainly, imagine the first triplet is dotted. And see what happens. So here's the last line then. Yeah, it's quite interesting. So without trying, I was occasionally reversing the swinging so that instead of I was doing short then long, but my fingers were just getting ahead of me on the way. So I don't know how. Let me just have a look at people. I mean, presumably most people know this tune one way or another. Have you come across it straight or swung or how?
I just say I got this from the Black Book. I forget the name of the guy who's responsible for that. The Morris Ring
book.
Yeah, my 50-year-old copy.
Yeah,
I have no idea how Bampton actually play it.
But very often
50 years ago since I heard them live.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I could try and but it's not unusual that a jig like that in triplets gets swung. How would you play it, Paul?
Well, I'll give you a little bit of how I would play it.
Yes.
Of that fashion.
Yes, so that's you were doing similar. You were dotting certainly.
Yeah, it helps for the dancers to lift it a bit.
Yeah, that's right. You were dotting the first triplet of a lot of bars, but by no means all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a matter of taste as much
It
as
is.
anything.
And
Also, it depends on the dancers and how long they can stay in the air sometimes.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry for my absence. I had the Halifax card fraud prevention people on the phone for about half an hour. So
Oh dear.
dealt with now.
Has somebody hacked your account?
No, they thought somebody had, but it turned out to be my MuseScore subscription for next year.
Right. Right. Anyway, so that's Johnny So Long at the Fair. So I think it's been lurking as a one to put in the tune book for a long while. Oh dear, what can the matter be? And the variations are actually in the possibles one. There's a thing where there's 7 or 8 different variations on the thing, splitting them into semi-quavers and dotting them and other things. But I think I'll put a sort of not a definitive one, but one that I think will have about at least half the bars will have a dotted swung starting triplet. Anyway, thank you for that, John. So how's time getting on? 1/2 right. Okay, so let's move back to parts and to Sir John Fenwick's Flower Among Them All.
No, it's nice.
So let's do what we did with the other one. Play through the black notes first and then play through the red notes. Though the red notes actually I found a bit challenging in places because there's some odd rhythm things in that, particularly in the second system. Well, we'll come to, or even in the first system of the red notes, there's things where in this version I've actually compared. Let me just put up John's original one, which was from me. Though, John, where did you get this arrangement from? Do you know, or where did I get it from?
The version I'm looking at says Chiltina's private tune book. So
Yes, it is in Chiltina's private tune book, which is what I'm looking at, the Chiltinas tune book here. But excuse me while I just find something. Sounds, no, that one. The original one. This is the original one, and this is the one that you may well have printed out. And the musically should be identical, but I was having difficulty with the timings of a couple of bits, and in particular, so bar 1, 2, 3, bar 5, bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here in the red notes. You've got this slightly, no, I didn't what I mean. Oh, yeah, it is that, isn't it? Sorry, let me just yes, it was that bar that has, you're not in a jig here. You're not in 2 beats in the bar. You're in 3 beats in the bar generally. But this one starts off with a beat and a half, and then, as written in this thing originally, then had a whole beat that was, so to speak, off the beat. And I could hear Claire Wren telling me off for having done that in another tune. So in the I rewrote it fractionally, so that's actually a tied pair of quavers, which then at least means that the second of those can be on the beat and could have chords on and things like that. So that's and I joined together a couple of things where there was in the original thing it was a bit odd. In the bar before, in the black notes, there were 4 tied and a break and then 2 tied, and that was because there was a different chord and they hadn't been joined together. Sorry, so I've just done a couple of minor things, but if you're playing either of them, it should sound exactly the same. It just layout things. Right, so let's play the tune. Oh, in fact, that was I did. So I'm just looking. Yes, I also joined together the triplet at the beginning because I think it is played as 3 joined notes. So on here, in terms of the barring, why is it 1 and then 2? So I just joined it for ease of reading to be like that. Right. Right. So this is going to go. Can we do it to that speed? Yeah, sure we can. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's perhaps fractionally slower. Last 4 bars then. So I'll get it right in a minute. And if you're finishing, you would probably you would hold that last E. Right, E. So hopefully that wasn't too fast. Let's just try doing the red notes in the same sort of way. So this is going to go. It took me quite a bit of doing to actually get the timings, what I think, right on there. But in fact, one of the reasons I did this, so I can actually get the computer to play just that part, so that second line if we want. But I think it's useful for the moment to have both things displayed. So here's. So I'll play the last 4 bars of the main tune and then come in on the red notes, I think. Yeah, I was right. I was right. Why did I stop? Right, I'll do that again. It's not an easy part, that, and I perhaps took it a bit fast for a first time through. What I'm going to do, let me just find something. Right. So what this is going to be is the computer playing just that second part, but I need to, for the moment, I need to share both of them properly. I'm going to share that and that. Share soundtrack. Right. So I don't know whether I'll leave both parts up. Then, if people don't like playing the red notes, they can play the tune against it. But anyway, this is the computer playing just the second part. No intro, just going straight in. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so quite a, I think quite a difficult second part, just in terms of the way the timing isn't quite what you'd expect in certain bars. So what we'll do now is, if I can just get back to my sounds thing, I need to get rid of that, and I want Sir John Fenwick. It's a bit louder. Right, so that will do. Go away. Right, so media player and tune book. Right, so this time you should get both. You should hear both parts together and be able to play either one and hear yourself against both together. So this is a John synthesized recording, so it starts off with an intro. So everybody looked to be concentrating very hard at getting the notes right. So is it Wendy's shaking her head? Too fast, too complicated?
Yes, both. I'm lost in place completely.
Testing is the word.
It is testing. But it's a nice harmony arrangement. I still don't know where it came from. Whether it's a
Paul, I'm thinking it might have been from the Piper's Companion.
oh. Well,
I'll check it out and we can properly credit it if I trace what it is.
In which case,
we played it 20 years ago or something.
Yeah, well, that's right. It could easily be because it's definitely a melody second part. It's not just it's a tune in its own right, so to speak. But it's certainly not trivial, and it would be worth perhaps coming back to it rather more slowly as an intro and things then. So, we've got 10 minutes left. I don't think it's worth going on to another tune. Do you want to have another go at that? Paul McCann is shaking his head. Do you want to play us something, Paul?
Always one to put his head over the parapet. You know me.
Are you willing to play us something as a?
Well, I can play you something, but I don't know. I've got dots for it. That's the thing.
No, we can just listen to you. That's all right.
Okay. This is a set that I'm working on at the moment. It's a tune called Indian Queen.
Oh, yeah.
There are various tunes with that name, I think, but that's how I know it. I learnt it from a session up in the northwest of England when we were in lockdown. I was joining a session in Lancashire, and playing that up there with people like Mary Humphries, Nana Hatter, and
all right, yeah.
And the other tune that goes with it is one that actually Andy Turner did at Holsey either last year or the year before, called La Rochelle.
Have you got original sound on?
I have now.
Right.
Okay, I'll just give you a quick burst of that then.
Very different.
Very Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Very
I
nice.
came
Yes.
through all right. I couldn't tell what it sounded like from here.
Yeah,
so-
no, that was good. You
Yeah.
can listen to yourself on the video recording.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yes, what
these
was the
recordings
second
are
one
always much
called?
appreciated, by the way, Paul. Thank you.
So what's the second one called?
It's called La Rochelle, like the town in France.
No, right.
They're both tunes from the late 18th century, apparently within about 5 or 6 years of each other, I think, but from completely different sources.
I mean, did you know if La Rochelle was actually from a French source, or was it an
No, I
Englishman
don't think
who
it was. Just bear with a second. I might
Settling in,
even be able to find it.
Bear with.
Hang on. Let's have a look. Oh dear, what am I doing here? I don't know what I'm doing. Because somewhere.
Oh, with the rain.
just while
There
you're
we are.
while
Let's
you're
have a quick
looking
look
there,
down here.
I'll
I'm nearly there.
you're nearly there. All right. what's the-
It's in this somewhere in this pack of music that I'm just looking through here.
I was just thinking we could finish off as it was Burns night yesterday with just playing Old Lang Syne. Just
Here we are, La Rochelle. Yeah, you could if you want to. Yeah. Oh God, it's gone again. Hang on.
Put that away.
Sorry, I've got it here.
I was
It
just
says
looking for
played
you
by a
Manson phrase, but I
Piedmontese.
can't find that.
Sorry, just going to read what it says on Andy Turner's blurb. Played by a Piedmontese girl on an cymbal in Oxford Street, December 22nd, 1784. From John Baptist Malcher Manuscript, Volume 3, the third collection of tunes original in D, no repeats, and it's played in G there. So,
Well,
so that was
Piedmont
from
is
Andy
Italy.
Turner, and I just liked the tune so much.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought I'd learn
yeah.
it, So,
Yeah, I mean
so Anglo
Piedmont.
players ought to know that if they were at Halsey.
Yeah.
I remember them doing it in the concert, and I remember thinking how nice it sounded. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Indeed.
Indulgence.
Right. So just to finish us off, and as it was Burns Night week, we could you can there's a two-part setting here, but so I'm just going to play probably. No, I'll just play the top line. You can decide to play the other if you want. We haven't practiced this at all, so this was just as we've got a few minutes left. I didn't mute all, did I? So we had
sorry.
a bit of, no, it's
fault.
well, it's it should have been my my responsibility really. I'm just going to do that again then. Oops, go away. I'll do it. Do the same thing again. Yes, there's a rather strange low D at the beginning of the last system that should be an octave higher, I think. But otherwise, that's anyway. There you are. Have a bit of
Nice way to finish up. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's exactly 4 o'clock by my watch. So I declare the session finished. The next Chiltinas thing is the delayed. Rescheduled for a later time anyway. World Concertina Day contribution on the 6th. I'm looking at John here. The 16th, I think. The 16th, is it?
16th, yeah.
Yes. I still don't know whether I'm going to be there. I was going to be away in Spain, but my wife is having a minor operation on in the beginning of February time, and so I don't know when she'll be well enough to travel, and so we may well not be going, or we might be going for a week somewhere else. So at the moment I just don't know. There's a 50-50 chance really whether I'll be there or not. But if not, have a good time.
Yeah, well, our next Zoom only session isn't until March the 9th.
Right.
But the West Country players have got their Zoom session.
Yes, that's
rather closer to Concertina Day.
Yeah, Chris was asking for volunteers to lead, wasn't he? Right. Okay. I will, with that, I declare the session closed and I will end the thing. There will be a recording, so if you had difficulties with Sir John Fenwick's, you can go to the recording and practice it till you get it right. I mean, I think it would be a good one to do in real Chiltinas. Yeah, we could spend a bit more time on it, start it slowly, and the two parts go together very nicely, really. Anyway, okay. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.
Stay safe. Bye.